Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Shem Shai, Bashem Kakdash, the branch of the apostles, and Elsewhere Millstone for teaching us this truth. Peace and blessings to the whole collective Israel and Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Hebrew by Hashem. He's the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson. And today we're going to do another MOTB update. As you see in the title of the article, WEF says CBDCs must be implanted under your skin. Now this sounds like a certain something when you go back to Revelation 13 and 16. You know, the proof cannot get any clearer, man. And you have a lot of these other Israelite camps that are still pushing that the MOTB is a spiritual mark, that it's sin itself. Well, you have this taking place right in front of you, man. Showing you a lot of these guys have sold out, man, and took the bag. But let's continue on this article right here. We'll dive into these few scripts that came to mind, and Lord's will be edifying lesson and quick to the point. And we'll also get this breakdown of the word charagma, which when you go into the word mark, and the Greek goes into the word charagma, and you'll see that it's a physical mark. Now, as the WF says, CBDCs must be implanted under your skin if you want to participate in society. When you go to the 17th verse in Revelation 13, it goes into how you won't be able to buy nor sell without that mark. So this is how they're also going to force a lot of people's hands, which you're about to see right here also. The WF has declared that all citizens must be implanted with a CBDC micro chip in the very near future in order to be able to fully participate in society and do basic things such as purchase food and water. So you're seeing the infrastructure, the foundation that's being laid out right before your very eyes in order to usher in this beast system, this CBDC. Because I believe either last month, if not later this month, if not next month, you're going to have them roll out FedNow, which is going to replace your Cash Apps, your PayPals, pretty much forcing you to go through them. You're seeing more self-checkout aisles and pretty much everything moving to a more digitized route. You know, you have other nations dropping the dollar. You're seeing, the U.S.'s economy collapsing under itself. So you're seeing the steps that are being taken in order to, go this route, this direction. A digitized system, a digitized currency. Now, according to Professor Richard Werner, in the very near future, citizens will need to use the latest technology such as CBDC C-hip implant in order to access their banks. As I mentioned in the beginning of the lesson, this is how they're going to force a lot of people's hands and push you into a corner where you'll be forced to make a choice. As you know, many people have families to take care of, and now that your job is going to be at risk, your pay is going to be at risk, you'll not be able to travel to enter your job or stores. So they're going to have a lot of people that's going to bend the knee, man. That's going to crack under that pressure that's going to be applied. And that's why we continue to hope and pray that the Lord will keep His Spirit upon us and protect us and defend us during those days, man. Because we'll also be facing persecution for denying, for denying this MOTB, and standing stiffly for the Lord. Now, Professor Richard A. Warner is an economist and professor of banking and finance. He is known as the proponent of a new post-crisis monetary policy called quantitative easing, which, if I said that correctly, he proposed in Japan in 1995 as chief economist of a British investment bank. He has also worked as a researcher at the University of Oxford, the Bank of Japan, the Development Bank of Japan, the Asian Development Bank. He is involved in supporting the establishment of not-for-profit community banks through an initiative called Local First CIC. And now you're seeing, America's economy collapsing. You're seeing America in its all-time high in debt, I believe 32 trillion, if not 31, and it's still raising, which I believe they also, defaulted. If you look up that, which I believe I made a lesson a couple months ago, if not a couple weeks ago, going into that also. So this place is crumbling, and now that you see a lot of people are looking at the problems and the things that are happening with the economy, the dollar, and how it's losing its value, a lot of people are going to look for a so-called solution, which he doubles on a swoop in as a so-called hero with, and which is going to be that MOTB, this digitized currency, man. So that they'll cause all these problems, all this commotion, and bring in the so-called solution to the problems that they ultimately started. Order out of chaos. So we have the main point of the article right here. Now let's dive into the scripture right here to bring the lesson home. Now it says Revelation 13:16 through 17. Now you should know the scripture by now already. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the proof cannot get any clearer. Now it says, He calls the whole, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And when you go into that word mark in the Greek, which we'll get right here just to prove it, That's why it's important to also look into the etymology of the words so you know what the scripture is talking about. Now, it says right here, which we'll place real quick.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Charagma. Now, it says a scratch or etching, stamp as a badge of servitude. As you know over here, it's a stamp or imprinted mark. So we're going to show that this is a physical mark, an etching, scratch, as we just read in the definition right here. Where does it say that's a spiritual mark? For a lot of you other Israelite camps that are promoting and pushing that, which is going to lead a lot of our people to their death, man, getting them killed. And you have a lot of blood on your hand. Now let's go back to the scripture up top. Revelation 13:16, and he called to all both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And you also see Elon Musk creating the Neuralink, which is the mark in the forehead. I believe also similar tech companies that are creating similar technology to that of the Neuralink, which I believe you already have a person that's taken it. Now he was once paralyzed, but now he's able to walk again. So you're seeing a lot of people going to see those miracles on the left-hand side, and a lot of people are going to fall into those temptations and be deceived. But also going right here is in the right hand, which a lot of people say, what if I take it in my left hand since it's in my right hand right here? But when you go into Revelation 14th chapter, in the 9th verse, if I'm correct, goes into, pretty much either hand. You have a lot of people that try to look for loopholes and try to, maneuver around Yahweh Shema Shah and what's written, But now let's get on to the 17th verse. Now it says that no man might buy or sell. So very soon, if you don't have this charagma, you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. This is also where our faith will be tried and where we will be tested. Because you also saw in the article, how we just read right here, you won't be able to participate in society. Because pretty much everything is going to be ran under that charagma, that MOTB, that RFID CHIP. We have time more time, and now it says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. And what's in this prophecy cannot get any clearer, man. You're literally seeing it unfolding right before your very eyes, man. So many things are coming out dealing with the MOTB. The steps are being taken to get to that point. Everything pretty much going digital. You're seeing, schools now have lockers where you pretty much have an ID where you just slap it on the locker and it opens. So what if they pretty much remove that and make it to where you need to have that charagma in order to even enter school, to open your lockers, to go to your job, to do pretty much anything. You need to have it. But as I mentioned, that's where our faith is going to be tried. As you're about to see right here in Revelation 2:10, fear none of the things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried. As you see these FEMA camps that they're making, also going to all these Walmarts that are closing down, and you wonder why. As behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Going to a certain period of time, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So if we continue to endure, remain faithful, believe, the Lord God says, so also about to see right here in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, the 10th verse, because I was kept with my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation. So we're going to rely upon Yahweh Shema Shai. As well as you go back to Isaiah 10:20, how we're no longer going to rely upon them that smote us. Especially once you start seeing these mandates going out, these restrictions, that's when we're taking a step back, as you're about to see right here. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped to the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Who smote us? Esau, Edom. But shall stay upon Yahweh Shema Shai, the Holy One of Israel in truth. So we're going to rely upon our God to protect us, to feed us, and to defend us during those days. And that's why it's important to get right with Yahweh Shema Shai before it's too late, man. Because without the Lord, you are through. There's no ifs or buts about it. Now I said, because I was kept with my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation. The hour of temptation be when that MOTB is presented in front of us, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So everyone's going to be faced with it, man. Everyone's going to be tried. And it's really going to be made known in that day who truly believed and who truly had faith in Yahweh Shema Shai during those days. Let's also get 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for you're not ignorant of his devices. So we see what this devil's playing at, as well as when seeing the implementation of FedNow, which is going to replace your Cash Apps, your PayPals. I believe they took out the Cash App CEO, if you've seen that article. which that was a couple months ago, and now you're seeing the implementation of FedNow, which once again is going to replace the Cash Apps, the PayPals, forcing you to go through them. So that's no coincidence that he was taken out. Especially dealing with this article right here. I mean, it's right in front of your face. CBDCs must be implanted under your skin. I mean, there you go. Just how they, CHIP cows or brand cows and CHIP dogs and cats, and why is that? To show that they have ownership over that animal, and this is what they're wanting to do to you. And this goes right over Jake's head, man. Oh, I can listen to music in my brain. I don't care about that. I can see holograms in front of me. Jake is through, man. Jake carnal, man. And that's why a lot of them are going to get destroyed. Going to Zechariah 13:8. How 2/3 of our people are getting ready to be cut off, man. Killed, destroyed. Now, it's Ezekiel 33:33. It said, when this come to pass, the Lord will come. They shall know. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. So that a prophet has been among you, warning you of these coming times, these prophecies that we have been prophesying about for years now, starting with the apostles and elders on down at Great Millstone. Look at this. The prophecy is speaking, man. Who else do you see other than the brothers at Great Millstone, and also like-minded brothers that follow Great Millstone, pushing that the MOTB is a physical mark? That's the RFID CHIP. Like, come on. Hey, the prophets were right, man. And that's why you should also be careful who you are learning from, and be wary of who your true teachers are, man. Because a lot of these other camps are leading you astray, man. Once again, pushing that the MOTB is a spiritual mark, that it's sin itself. A lot of you guys are trying to keep you here and get you destroyed, man. But hey, the apostles and elders at Great Millstone were correct, right, man. And when this comes to pass, the Lord will come, there shall a prophet hath been among them. You were warned. Now let's shut this down to Revelation 14:9-10 to go into the judgment that you will receive if you do take that charagma. Since those on the play around and take this lightly, how Bashim Hashai is getting ready to destroy you, man. And the third angel of all them saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead. Seeing Elon Musk with his Neuralink, and I believe also a few other companies that are following in suit. Or in his hand. As I mentioned earlier, you have like Jakes that tried to find a loophole and say, I can take it in my left hand, do this and do that. No. Either hand you take it in forehead, left and right hand, you will be destroyed. Simple as that. Now this is verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And it should be tormented with fire and brimstone. That fire and brimstone would be those thermonuclear missiles. Now, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, which is our Lord Yahweh Shai. So those that do take this charagma, that mark, you will be destroyed. There's no, once again, ifs or buts about it. There's no getting around it, man. Clean cut. You take it and you will be destroyed. Because once again, now you're seeing the foundation, the infrastructure being laid out and the direction that they are heading towards. So you're seeing them, starting to implement and push their plans. Look at this. WEF says CBDCs must be implanted under your skin. What does that sound like? The RFID CHIP. And guess what? The prophets were right, man. Starting with the brothers at Great Millstone, the apostles and elders on down. So pretty much the main point of the lesson already. It's like if I kind of dragged it out or rambled a little bit, but Lord was edifying and to the point. By doing to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bashim Hashai, Bashim Kakadash, the Barnes the Apostles, and else Great Millstone for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings to the whole collective of Israel. And Shalom, stands on the one.